Welcome to my podcast, Today's Dream, Tomorrow's Reality. My name is Vickie Poole. I'm a life coach, health coach, and hypnotherapist at the Enlightened Peach. And this podcast is all about embracing our mosaic life. And some of you may ask, what is a mosaic life? Well, it is recognizing that all the pieces of our life, the good, the bad, the indifferent, have all come together to make us who we are. Change any one thing and we are totally different. With that in mind, I invite you to embrace your perceived imperfections and celebrate who you are. This podcast is unedited and raw, just like life. And I will be your host, and we'll have special guests from time to time. As a matter of fact, we have an amazing guest for you today. I can't wait to introduce her to you. And if you have any ahas or questions, please leave a comment or a voice message. So now, let's get started. So let me get to my information here, and I'm going to just read her bio because it is so impressive and so amazing. I know I won't remember all of this. So to start with, her name is Sheri Kaplan, and she's known as the Revitalizer. She's an experienced energy healer, intuitive, transformational coach, motivational speaker, and author with 30 years of expertise in holistic wellness. She guides individuals on their healing journey, empowering them to create profound transformations in their lives. As a Telsa healer, Reiki master, sound healer, access conscious bars practitioner, and intuitive trauma-informed holistic life coach, Sheri combines various modalities to provide a unique and transformative in-person experience. Through her virtual and in-person events since 2015, she has garnered 5-star reviews as she creates immersive experiences for personal growth and connection. Sheri is the founder of Healers Network, a thriving community that supports holistic health and wellness professionals. Her speaking engagements inspire audiences worldwide, and her book, Root to Riches, 17 Ways to Open the Root Chakra to Love, Abundance, and Security, shares her wisdom and expertise. With a compassionate, empowering approach, Sheri helps individuals find balance, tap into their inner power, and experience profound transformation in their lives. And we will be sharing a little bit about how to get in touch with Sheri later on, and I will have links in the comments for you as well. But oh my gosh, that's a lot of stuff that you do. And I'm just one of the things that I wanted to ask you straight off, because when you see the Telsa, what is that? Is it energetics? What is that exactly? I can't hear you. You're on mute.
Okay,
There
hi.
you go.
Thank you for having me, first of all, Vickie. Appreciate it. People are always curious about Telsa Healing. They don't know what it is. There's not many of us practitioners in the United States because it wasn't founded here.
Where was it founded?
The woman who founded it was Anya Petrova. She lives in Australia, but she's originally from Serbia.
Okay.
That's where Telsa was from. And she had a dream, like an awakening to bring in Telsa Healing. And she was in communication with the woman. Oh no, the cat just jumped up. Oh Lord.
They want to say hello.
He's got to make his mark. He's gonna have to go down. Come on. All right, he ain't gonna go nowhere for a while. So when I went out to a holistic chamber of commerce right after I started my business, when I stepped into my power and I was running around with my business card saying I was a Reiki practitioner, and I was proud of myself finally after all these years, and I was owning it. And the person said, Reiki Shmeiki, Telsa Healing is where it's at. I'm like, what is Telsa Healing? I only heard of Telsa the car. She goes, it's a woman who created this new modality healing. This is like bigger than ever. This harnesses in the free energy waves. We bring in the scalar energy, the alternative current, and you harness in the energy and you send it to the client. And I'm like, interesting. I'd love to know about it. However, I was already obligated that weekend that they're going to hold a class. The class I was going to be participating in canceled, so I was able to raise money. I literally had to raise money to attend the class. So I didn't have money, and it was not cheap. And I took the first class, and then they had 2 other levels. So I had to raise money again and be able to afford the next level. So I took 2 out of 3 levels in the course of 10 days.
Oh, wow.
And really nobody's offering it here in South Florida. At the time when I got certified, there was only 27 in the United States.
Mm-hmm.
So when I harness in the energy, I become the rod, the conduit, and the energy comes from me to the client.
Mm-hmm.
We're using the scalar waves. The further away we are from the client, the stronger the energy gets. And so it's called more airborne rather than Reiki, where Reiki is more hands-on or direct. This is further away. And I was very precise. You had to, in order to pass the class, you had to almost be like a doctor and be able to cut the body almost like a knife, working with the axioms of the chakras. And even one woman failed the class. She cried her way out the door. She couldn't get it perfect. So, but I had some issues though, because once you get certified Telsa Healing, she didn't want us to promote ourselves as any other healer. That Telsa healer is all that we are. So
Ah.
she didn't like it if I put the word Reiki and Tesla in the same sentence. So she basically banned me.
Oh,
She took me off of her practitioner list. She wanted to sue me and tell me I cannot use the word Tesla in any of my healing. So
interesting. Interesting.
yeah. So
So
yeah.
is that something that you have to do in person, or is that something that you can do via Zoom and all as well?
I because I use it in everything that I do, it can be done long distance. I really haven't practiced a lot doing long distance, but
Mm-hmm.
something works if I do long distance.
Yeah.
I really don't promote myself as a long distance healer. I'm a hands-on person. I like to feel the energy, to touch the heat, the connection, the pulsing. Especially like when I'm working on the head, I can feel the vibration and the pulsing in my fingers with their brain. When I'm working with the access consciousness bars, or when I'm touching their head doing Reiki, my hands are just hot and I'm sweating. There's a connection. I like that in person.
Yeah, that sounds
Yeah.
really cool. I'll be honest, I've had energy healing before in person, and I've had Reiki many times, you know, via Zoom and everything. And I was really surprised that you could even feel a lot of that stuff on Zoom. So it's amazing if you can feel it via this electronic device, the amount of energy that comes personally when you're doing it. It's phenomenal. Like I said, I haven't done Reiki so much in person, but I've done the energy healing. So I couldn't say whether she was doing more Reiki or what she was doing, but that was just so intense to feel how when they would have their hands above your body and you could actually feel where they were all the time, even though you couldn't see where they were. So it's amazing having you as the conduit and it's coming out of your hands. And I would imagine if you're feeling it in that ways, it's probably permeating all around you, right?
It's
Would
in the
that be an
air.
accurate
I
statement?
can feel, yeah, it's literally because it's airborne. When I first started and I had my very first sound healing event, there was 19 people in the room, me and 2 instruments, and me doing Tesla healing over everybody. So I was like a freak because I was such a perfectionist. I did what the teacher taught me, but I did it over everybody. And people said when I came up to them, they could feel the energy coming into their energy field. So I was just like harnessing the energy and I was just doing what I needed to do. But as we know, energy has no time and space. It
Mm-hmm.
is airborne. It travels. It miraculously, I've had people work on me and I can feel my heart pounding. I can feel energy moving through my body, and I'm just laying on the bed, and
Yeah,
we're
yeah.
not even talking on the phone. She's sending me the energy and I'm just vibrating. So
Wow. Yeah.
something magical happens.
Yeah, cool. So, so how did you actually get into doing all these healing modalities? What brought you to this space to decide this is something I need to do?
Great question. Well, we got a lot of time, right? Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, this is
Well,
pretty
I
pretty
asked this
much
one in the beginning, so we'd have plenty of time.
Well, this is pretty much one of the biggest questions I always get is how'd you get started?
Yeah.
Especially with my clients, if they are in the awakening stage and they're curious about their own healing abilities, or they're ready to step into being a healer, or they're questioning their career and they said like, how did you do this? I want to get started. What are the steps? I'm like, I'm the kind of person where I jump in. I get to the point of frustration and I run before the cart is before the horse rather than the cart pulling the horse. Um, I've been told that I had the healing abilities my whole life and I just poo-pooed it. It was like,
Mm-hmm.
me, how am I a healer? But it was in my hands. It was indications. There's lines. It's called medical stigmata right under your pinky finger. If everyone could look under your pinky finger over here, there's lines going down. If you have 4 lines, that means you're a healer. 6 lines, you can heal others. And 9 lines, you can heal the healers. So it kind of looks like an emery board. It's like a bunch of little lines going straight down underneath the pinky finger. Goes
Okay,
this
yeah, I
way.
see.
And I have 9, beyond 9 on each finger. I have a lot of lines in there.
I'm
So
looking at mine right now.
kind of bend your finger a little. You need some good lighting. People usually maybe sometimes use a camera, but you can almost, mine looks like an old lady hands. There's a whole bunch of lines under there.
Yeah, mine has a good bit. I just figured it was old lady hands.
No, it's not old lady hands. Because after I found this out from my palm reader, I did a palm reading literally just about a month ago. Her name
Okay.
is Olga Belova. She's really amazing. She'd be a great speaker too. But she, I haven't seen her since I started my business, and it's been like 9 years since I saw her. And she goes, "Do you remember what we talked about?" I said, "Yeah, you told me that I'm a teacher, I'm a healer, I'm a shaman." And she goes, "Do you remember other things?" And I'm like, "Well," and she goes, "Your hands do change. You change." I'm like, "Really?" So if our hands change, then our life changes.
Hmm.
So she did my hand reading and she goes, "You still are the natural born leader, healer, and shaman. And if you are not being the shaman that you are, you might as well die." She goes, "That's what you're here to do. You're here to heal others, especially the other healers." And I'm like, "Okay." And she says that I am like a powerful leader and I need to get monetarily remunerated so I feel, rewarded. And she taught me a lot about myself, about, what my school of life is, why I'm here, what my purpose is, what my demons are, and what I have to overcome. But, being the healer, she just kind of reassured me that I am on the path. And astrologers said I'm on the path. But I didn't understand, how do you heal? I've been the one trying to heal myself with my own autoimmune disease since I've been 28 years old and I'm now 58. So for 30 years, I've kept myself alive, as healthy as possible, as natural as possible. And so I was always the one on the table trying to receive the healing. And one
Mm-hmm.
day I heard Dr. John Demartini speak, and it was live in person. I was in a very close front row. And when he was talking, it was like he was talking to me. And it was just kind of awoken me. And it made me like wake up. That it was like almost like a Kundalini experience. That was like a moment when you said yes. When you
Mm-hmm.
say yes to yourself, it's like an awakening, it's permission. And he kind of talked to us about our values. What's important to you? What do you talk about? Where do you spend your money? Where do you go on vacation? Where do you surround yourself? What's your conversations like? What do you buy? And to me, it was about healing, vacations, retreats, spirituality, learning, crystals, oils. It was all about healing. He goes, "Well, you must do what you're doing or you're living in someone else's life." And I'm like, "Well, I'm not living in anyone else's life. This is what's truly important to me." So at that time, I said, "Well, my clients that I was working for were going to be going away for the summer. I was a private chef and a CNA, another hats that I wear, caregiver, chef, caterer. That's what I did before, being a very big nurturer. And they were going away on vacation, and I had Tuesday and Thursday off the following week. So when Dr. Martini kind of spoke to me, I said, "Okay." I had my Reiki 1 and my Reiki 2 Reiki 2 sitting on the shelf, just gathering dust, doing nothing, which most Reiki practitioners do. Honestly,
Mm-hmm.
if you're listening to this, most Reiki practitioners will do it and they don't know what to do with it. It
Right.
just sits there. They practice a little bit on their friends, on their children, on their family, but they don't know how to get out there and charge. They don't know how to go out there and take the first step and to put themselves out there on the map. So when I posted on Facebook, I said, "Okay, back up." So when Dr. John Demartini said, "Do it," basically, like I said, "Do it." I said, "Let me go get my Reiki master's." The following week, I got my master's. I said, "Well, if I get my master's level, I'll believe in myself. Then they'll believe in me and then they'll pay me. I don't know what I'm going to charge, but I'll believe in me." So I posted my Reiki masters on Facebook and I had 300 people said where, when, and how much.
Oh, wow.
Just
How
like that.
impressive is that? Just making that decision.
And also the recognition and
Mm-hmm.
acknowledgement. And I had a big following. And the first three people was my dad's good friend, one of my best friends, and another friend. So it's okay to start off with your friends and relatives. They're the ones that you trust and they trust you.
Right.
And you got to start. And I undercharged myself. I didn't know how to charge myself, and I gave away too much of my time. Didn't get a lot of money, but I put myself on the map. I was working 12 hours a day. I was living off of energy. I was so high from the excitement of doing it finally and getting the feedback and people wanting and desiring my offerings that I was just not even eating. I was just working from 9 a.m. to 11 o'clock, and the door was revolving. And I got busier and busier, and I said, I got to get out of here. And so it's kind of funny because it was this time in 2015. It was basically in June of 2015. And I happened to have a massage table in my house because I had a boyfriend who left it to me. So I had his table. And that's how I was able to do the sessions in my house. And then I said, I got to get out of here. My cat kept jumping on the table during the treatments. And I said, let me find a place. So that's kind of where I'm at right now. I'm also looking for a place right now as we speak. And some environmental issues have happened in my location. I need to move on. So when I moved out of my house, I went to an acupuncturist office. I heard that he had some space. I asked if he had some space. He said, come see it. And we did a handshake agreement. And I was basically like officially in business, like out of my house, out in the public. And
Mm-hmm.
then there was no looking back. It was always about me moving and moving and moving, sticking around, trying to find my right space where I fit in the best. So I went from a place 2 miles from my house to a place 45 minutes away. I've been out west 45 minutes away. I build my practice and then I have to move, and then build your practice, you have to move. You got stuff and more stuff and more stuff.
Yeah.
So,
Well, let me ask you a quick question. You had said that you've been a healer all your life. So when is the first time you remember having that healing ability, or did you even recognize it very much at that time?
well, I started a nonprofit organization when I was 29 years old,
Mm-hmm.
and it was a holistic healing center. And I was a facilitator. I was the executive director, program director, and I brought in other healers. And the healers were helping my clients heal.
Mm-hmm.
And I needed the healing. That's why I brought them in. And during that time, I got certified. That's when I got my Reiki 1 and 2. And sometimes I would use it. I was kind of scared to use it on my clients because I didn't feel credible. But there was some times where I had clients breaking down, and I had to try to help them, heal them, and soothe them. So I put them on the treatment tables, and they told me how great I was. And I was just scared. I was scared to use my abilities, and I kind of held on to them since that time.
Mm-hmm.
But prior to 28, 29 years old, not being in the holistic field, I wasn't really on the quest for healing. That wasn't my interest or anything. I was like in the food industry. I was doing what, average 20-year-olds do.
Mm-hmm.
You're not into the quest. Right now I get a lot of kids that are in their 20s and 30s coming to me for healing. And that's so beautiful that they're awakened, and they're trying to get them their clarity, their center, their answers, their knowing.
Mm-hmm.
They're so advanced to where we were at that age.
Yeah. Well, the thing too is, at this stage in the world, this stuff is so much more accessible than, I mean, when I was, 29 years old, I'd never even heard of any of this stuff, nothing. And so my mind is always just blown away when I find this book and I think, oh my God, this is amazing information. I wish this had been around when I was younger. And I look at when it was created, and it was around. I just was not privy
Right.
to the information. It was
Mhm.
not in my field. And so that's the thing that amazes me, is that, we only see our world through our own filter. And so if nothing is showing up, it's because we're either not available to it. There's nothing in our past that's even an inkling that something like that can happen. So it's it's amazing to me that even today, there are a lot of people that probably might even hear this and sit back and think, I've never heard of anything like this, you know? So it's amazing.
It's true. I still get newbies coming in. I had a girl coming in. She goes, I'd never done any of this before in my life. None of it. I gave her first crystal. What do I do
Wow.
with it? What do I do with it? I'm like, I love it. I love the fact that they take a risk and
Mhm.
that trusting, and I blow them away. I have so much fun when I get newbies coming in. You know, they're nervous, and I take them to a whole nother dimension. It's so much fun. But you know, however, you know, I was not oblivious or blind to it. My mother's very spiritual.
Okay.
My mother was my first teacher. She was into the whole woo-woo stuff my whole
Oh,
life.
nice.
When I was 13 years old, we used to help her with the Ouija board. My mom used to drag us to healing circles, but we didn't know what they were doing. We were just playing with the kids while the parents did their healing. And she was into Jorei back then,
I
which
don't know
is
what that is. What
it's
is
not that
your?
popular, but it's also a little bit like Reiki. You're harnessing
Okay.
in the energy and you're sending in the energy too.
Okay.
It's not that popular, but that's what she was into. And
Wow,
she was
you were very lucky to be exposed to that at such a young age.
automatic writing. Mom would channel, she channeled Mother Mary. She has boxes of her writings.
Wow.
She was into candles. There was always candles lit. It was, you know, and when she passed and I collected a lot of her possessions, I'm the one who got all her instruments, all her candles, all the stuff that I didn't know my mom was so much into, like me. And like then I acquired all her goodies. And even at now, like when my mom passed, she channels and she comes through and she tells me how proud she is of me, that she wishes she could have accomplished what I did. And
Oh,
she's with
wow.
me during my healing sessions, and people do tell me they see a blonde lady, and she is blonde. So I think she's part of my healing team.
Oh, that just gives me chills to think about. That's amazing. That's amazing. So once you became this type of healer, because I don't even have the thing up now. There's a long list of all the different things that you do. So you're like me, I assume. I'm always looking for one other thing to help me make a bigger difference. And it's
Yeah.
like somebody will mention something, I'll think, oh my gosh, that sounds so amazing, and then I have to go check it out. And so I'm always taking different classes and learning different things, because for one thing, it's amazing to keep your brain active and everything, to be learning new things all the time. And so I'm sure that I would assume that that's how you developed all these others, is that one thing just led to another. So kind of take us to a little bit of a journey of how this all came about.
Well, I was attending sound healing baths. It was kind of my first introduction to relaxation and meditation. When I was no, stay over there, stay over there. When I was working as a private chef for that couple, I my escape was to go meditate after I was done my work. And I would leave work and I drive as quick as I can to go relax, you know. You know, it was kind of one of those, it's kind of, you know, like you drive in traffic, you get stressed out to go meditate and relax. It's kind of crazy, but
If it
that was,
works, right?
it worked, and it was my highlight. And there was this guy, his name is Jed Schlackman. He had a bunch of bowls, and I was so fascinated by it, the sounds that came out of it, and how it made me feel. And I didn't want to get up, and I just floated away, and it was so blissful. I said, I got to learn this. This is really amazing. I said, not ever thinking I would ever be a healer. That wasn't even in my radar. I just, you know, I just want to learn it. And so I signed up for the first class, and in order to take the class, you had to buy instruments and I had to invest. You needed to bring instruments with you. So I had to buy my first bowls, and I went and took my first class, and it was the best weekend ever. And it just kind of took me to another level. Again, not ever thinking I'd be doing anything with this. I think I took my first sound healing course in February, and it wasn't until May until I was awakened. However, I was taking a women's program called Women's Prosperity Network. It's for entrepreneur women. And I started it in January 2015. And I remember going in there with my business card. And my business card had 10 things on it. I could be a caregiver, I could be an organizer, I could be a shopper, I could be a caregiver, a cook, whatever you need, I can do it. And they said, you can't have all those things on your business card. I'm like, no. They go, you have to pick one. I said, I can't just pick one. Well, you have to pick one. And I was really like, at like, I don't know who I am. I was
Yeah.
all over the place. I was one-stop shop for anything you need done. I ran a nonprofit. I had a catering business. I could cook, clean, organize, whatever you need. But healing was not even there. It wasn't
Yeah.
even in my business card. It wasn't even my discussion. So from January until June, so in that 6 months, that's when I decided to go back to get my Reiki masters. I started the business out of my home. I went back to the women's because I stayed with the women. So I started the business in May. In June, I attended one of their classes called Level Up, and I started telling everybody I was doing healing, and everybody wanted a session from me. So those women also became my customers. They were like my best customers because they already knew me for 6 months,
Mm-hmm.
and they were my best mouth, they were my bullhorns, they were my cheerleaders. And so from that moment forward, if you do belong to a group of women or entrepreneurs, that is your core. Those are the people that are going to love you, support you, endorse you, recommend you. I walk in their room and they go, there's Sheri, that's her, I heard about you. And I'm like, what? So my reputation preceded me, and I had no idea how I impacted and changed people's lives. I was still blown away. I was still blown away. Even I was still blown away. People paying me for this,
Yeah.
and so from the bowls, from two little bowls, now I have like I need a truck for my instruments. I swear to God, I don't have enough space for my instruments between the songs, the singing bowls, the Tibetan bowls, the shakers, everything that I have. Like I can put on a concert all by myself,
Wonderful.
which I do. I am a performer. I am a musician.
Okay. All right. Well, I didn't even know that about you. So that's pretty interesting.
Well, that's what
So
we are. We are musicians. We're harmonizing the body.
that's that's true.
We
Yeah.
are using the frequencies of vibration, and everything is vibration, and everything gets out of harmony or they're in harmony. So
Right.
when people come, they're not vibrating at the right frequency.
Right.
They're shocked, they're stuck, they're locked, they're frustrated, they're not moving forward, they're still dealing with the dramas and the mamas and all that stuff, and they're like not moving.
Yeah.
And the way I look at the chakras are like tires in the car, and sometimes the tires get flat, out of alignment, have holes or treads and threads. And we need to just fill it up with the right air pressure and get the vehicle moving. So the body is the vehicle, the tires are the chakras. And
That's a
I guess
wonderful way to look at it, and it explains it a lot better for most people, or for a lot of people, I would say, because and it's funny because one of the things I do with a lot of my clients is I send them this questionnaire, and it's about all different avenues of life. There's actually 99 questions on there, and they rate all these different things, and then it's easier to look at, where they have flat tires in their life. And I've never really connected it to the chakras and everything, but that's a really good way to be able to explain it to them a little bit more. So I'm definitely going to take that little nugget right there from you, if you're okay with that, to share with my clients, because it's amazing because there are people that'll say, well, my life's okay, I'm doing okay. But when you really get down and you start asking questions and you dig a little bit, it's like, it's only okay because that's what they're used to. We can be very comfortable in our misery if that's what we are used to. And so it's really, really interesting to me as people dive into one thing. It's like the old thing on Shrek, where like layers of an onion, you peel off a layer and then, there's something else underneath. And it sounds like since you have so many modalities, that you're able to effectively work on each one of those layers and help people to not only make a change, but to see that they need to make a change. A lot of people don't even see it in the very beginning. Do you agree with that?
that is part of my process. It's like almost like a 15-step process with me.
Mm-hmm.
I have tremendous, amazing outcomes and benefits, but there's many steps along the way. And
Right.
as you said, on peeling the onion, that's what I tell my clients. I say, we just peeled off one layer today.
Yeah.
How deep do you want to go? It's like going into the middle of the artichoke heart. The middle of the artichoke heart is what we want to eat, right? Where it's
Mm-hmm.
nice and soft, and we have to peel off all those hard layers and go like that with our teeth. That's kind of what's happening in a session. We have to pull off those layers. It's going to hurt a little bit. It might not taste the best, but we want to get into that artichoke heart. So
Right.
we get to connect into the heart. And basically, it comes down to the heart. When the heart gets out of harmony, everything gets out of harmony. And the heart and the brain are connected. The heart, it deals with the emotion, the brain is the logic, and they feed off of each other. And then it goes to the gut, the other brain. And anytime everyone's in shock, it affects your nervous system, and the nervous system is attached to your chakras. So they go into shock too, and it goes in
Mm-hmm.
protection mode. It's like, no one's going to hurt me anymore. I don't trust you anymore. No one believes me. No one listens to me. No one hears me. I can't think anymore. I'm finding, it goes boom, 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 shock. It's like almost like the walls come down, like think of like prison.
Yeah.
Like you got the gates coming down on every chakra, and it goes like this. No one's going to break my heart again. And there goes the heart, no one, and they put up this wall. And we got to get that heart beating, communicating, connecting. The throat, the biggest thing with the throat, people come in and they're not even speaking their truth, haven't been heard since they were children, being really small, not being seen, heard, or respected, being abandoned. I deal a lot with childhood, trauma. We got adults still thinking that they were still the children, with that same
Mm-hmm.
brain. And we
Yeah.
got to get
Yeah.
them out of that stinking thinking,
Yeah.
that repeat memory of like, get over it. And in that time period that we spend together, it's really important because I believe in opening up the portals. My guides connect to their guides. I start downloading. I start getting messages. I see things. I hear things. I feel things. I start even sweating. I even start sweating down my back, or the top of my hands will start sweating, or I just start sweating all over. I said, "Oh, it's getting hot in here." It was like, like I just feel the energy coming in, and sometimes I'll say things that nobody knows. I make them cry. We haven't even started the session, and they already had some epiphanies,
Yeah.
and I'm
Yeah.
like, and I said, now let's get on the table. They go, there's more. I'm like, yeah.
I know for me personally, I've had times when I'm working through this and I'll have that ugly cry, where you got stuff running all over your face, you got tears and, and so sometimes it's not a very pretty sight, but man, getting onto the other side of that is just feels so light and blissful. And I'll share, I've one of the things, the chakras that I've had issues with for many, many years is my throat chakra. And so I would have sinus drainage, I would have this, I would have that, and it was like I was choking, a lot of times, and it was because I didn't want to say anything that would offend somebody or say anything that somebody might judge. And that's one of the reasons I kind of started this podcast, was because I've spent so much of my life trying to limit my voice that it was like, I'm going to do something that I can just speak. And so that's how this was born, was I wanted to be able to speak. And that's why I don't edit either, because I feel like it's a place to be able to speak without having to polish things. And just knowing that I can do this, and I'm giving myself permission to flub up and to maybe ask the wrong question or have the wrong answer or whatever it may be, without any judgment, it's just been amazing. And then I can have amazing people like you on talking about all the amazing things that you do. And it's just been something that has just opened my heart up and opened my throat up in a way I never even anticipated. You know what I'm saying?
Oh yeah.
Yeah, because it has been, my mind has just been so blown. Yes, yes, yes. So
Believe it or not, I used to be very shy.
did you
I,
really?
I was really an introverted kid, very shy kid. And I was so also concerned about judgment, what other people thought. I didn't even know how to walk up to a group of people without, I actually remember hiring a coach to help me have conversations like, how do you walk up to people and talk to them? And still, even after I started my business on how to get out and network, it was uncomfortable as all hell walking up to
Mm-hmm.
strangers and jumping into a conversation. I was still a fly on the wall. I still was that shy little girl, you know, standing back, observing. And then I remember going to this event and this woman came up to me and she's like, why are you standing here by yourself? I said, I don't know how to go talk to anybody. She goes, come join me. Come, I'll show you. And I'm like, what? So I followed her and she just taught me how to like step into a conversation. And I'm like, oh, that was brilliant, and I'm like, oh. So we all need to learn those little techniques of how
Mm-hmm.
to get out of our comfort zone, how to just be interested in what somebody has. That's it. Just be
Yeah.
interested, whether
Yeah.
it's shoes or their outfit or their jewelry. That's an instant conversation starter, you know?
Definitely. Yeah. So is that what you learned from her mostly, was to walk up and start a conversation with one particular person, or what was the gift that you received in that meeting?
What did I learn in that is I was my own worst enemy. We all were there to meet each other. And,
Mm-hmm.
people do get into conversations and they do want to include you. You just have to wait to be heard. You step into a circle and you listen and, acknowledge somebody and you could, say something to just, like I'm missing the party. What I miss, something
Yeah.
like that. And you're like, I heard this is the best group here to talk to, and then just get yourself in the door, and then they start acknowledging you. It's just that first conversation just to get into a group. And
Wonderful.
I'm super networker. I
Mm-hmm.
like fast forward. Now I'm the networker. I mean, people come to me because of my resources. I am the super resourceful person. I know everybody and everything, meaning I'm the go-to. You need it done, go to Sheri. You need somebody, go to Sheri. And it's my resource, my Rolodex, my connections that kind of put me on the map, believe it or not, in
Oh,
the past.
wonderful,
Yeah.
wonderful.
Yeah.
I am an introvert extrovert at the same time. I have times that I want to shine and be the head of the class and be the one talking and everything. And then there's other times I shrink back and I just want to watch. And, sometimes that introvert part of me comes from the place of fear. Sometimes it's not just that I want to observe, but it's that I'm afraid to step forward. And so that's one of the things that I'm always working on for myself, is being able to step forward even when I am feeling a little bit fearful of, and sometimes I'm not sure if it's judgment or what it is that I'm a little fearful of. And I can feel it when I go to some of these networking things, especially if it's a big one. I can feel that angst, rising up in me. I don't know anybody, that kind of thing. So that's really, really helpful for me, as I'm still on this place of trying to get to that confident space to just be. And because it's interesting, I don't really know how to articulate it as well, as far as, how sometimes I feel perfectly comfortable with walking up and talking to people. So I don't know if it's the energy about the people or what that may be, but some of them, it's like I just kind of feel this pull back, and then other people I feel like I can just flow into.
Right. It's true. Let's talk, talk about the energy in the room.
Mm-hmm.
It's, as we said, it's all about energy. You walk into a room and it's like, oh, it feels good in here, or oh, it doesn't feel good in here.
Yeah.
Is it the person? Is it the room? Is it and there are times I went to a networking event and I didn't really talk to many people because it really wasn't like that. It was more set up like an expo. Even
Okay.
though it's a networker, but where there was not a place to network. And they're
Hmm.
basically, I talked to everybody at their booths. So
Okay.
that's, but however, if there was an area for us to network, I would have been talking to everybody because we all need each other. You just need
Right.
to find out how we serve and how I can serve your people. And if you want to hear about what I do, maybe I can help you with someone you know.
Mm-hmm.
You know, and
Yeah.
that was one of the issues too, is like, how do I walk up to people and interest them in what I do? Because I can't be woo-woo. You
Right.
know, people don't want to talk woo-woo. I had to learn a different terminology, a different language in order how to communicate with people who've never done chakra talk or energy talk or Reiki talk. You know, I have to talk to the general public.
Yeah.
So I kind of had to use my branding.
Yeah.
What do? I help remove physical and emotional pain by removing energetic blockages. They go, what? How do you do that?
Yeah. Yeah.
You know, then I start telling them, you know, what happened, you know, what do I do? What have people, you know, and they you have a card, you have a card. Oh, I need that. Oh, I know someone who needs that. But you just don't go on like, oh, I do Reiki. I've done that before. Okay,
Yeah. Yeah.
boring. You got to kind of do like, I remove physical and emotional pain by
Yeah.
removing energetic blockages. Oh God, you know,
Yeah. Well, it's because people really don't care how you get there. They just want to know what you can do for them, you know? So that's pretty cool. That's one of the things that I think a lot of people these days um that I hear on social media and different things, it's that they spend so much time talking about what they do and how they do it, but they don't talk about what they're doing for you.
the result.
And, you know, yeah, the results that you get, what your pain point may be. And they do a lot of, and I know I've been guilty of this too. They talk a lot of the, like you said, the woo woo talk. They, you know, and it's like I can talk to other hypnotherapists and other life coaches and health coaches and everything, and we have all these different terminologies that we understand perfectly. But then you talk to someone else and they don't quite get it, you know. Yeah, so it's right over their head. So it's learning how to not only say it how you understand it, but in a way that other people understand it too. That's what you're saying, correct?
Speak their language.
Yeah, speak their language.
You
Yeah,
know, the best thing to do is take the testimonials or reviews and use that. You know, what I smartly did is I use Chat GPT now. I don't know if you discovered that, but that's my
yeah.
newest friend. And so I went to say, I have Airbnb experiences. I'm an Airbnb experience host, and I have like over 80 reviews. I just copy, cut, and pasted those reviews into Chat GPT, and I asked it to come up with, you know, the results. What are the benefits that my clients receive based on these reviews? And it told me a lot about me that I didn't know.
Oh,
You know,
how wonderful.
it
Yeah.
was really interesting to see what people get out of working with me. And, you know,
Oh, I'm going to do
I got
that.
a list of about 50 things. I said, holy cow. I was still working on it yesterday because I was quite impressed. You know, like this is really good marketing.
Yeah, yeah. So what was the prompt you gave it? Do you remember?
Oh, you know, well, what I also did too is I took like say Google. I also
Uh-huh.
have my Google reviews. I wanted to go back and edit my reviews, so I took their reviews, I put it into chat, and I said, create a thank you to this review. So then I was able to now start communicating with chat with all of that. So now I
Okay.
had my response as well as their review. And then I went back to all my reviews and I edited them. So now they sound really good. And then, so now I have all these reviews and I said, okay, based on what, you know, now I want you to give me a list of all the, you know, the benefits that my clients receive from my services. I just
Wonderful.
sit back
So
and I just,
anybody that's watching or listening,
oh
take
my,
notes because this is amazing because you know that's one of the things that I've been really working on is making sure I can articulate what results people are getting from me. And so I have Chat GPT, but I never even thought about using it in that way. So thank you for that definite nugget. I mean, there's been so many nuggets in our conversation today that I just want to really, really say thank you so much. And we're getting close to being at the end of our time. So
already?
before yeah, I know. So before you give people an idea of an offer that you may have or how to reach you and everything, what is one thing that you would like to impart on people from our conversation or from what you do? Is what is the one takeaway you really want to give them?
Hmm. Well, there's three kinds of people that come to me. People that the medical system has failed them and they have nowhere to go. Like no one can figure out what's wrong with me. Help me. I have people that my boyfriend broke up with me. I have a broken heart. I can't get out of bed. I'm depressed. Fix me now. Like take away the pain,
Mhm.
take the thorn out. And then I also have people that are proactive, that they understand when they're not feeling well, that their chakras are off and that they're not at their optimal performance, and they're like, come tune me up. So those are the three people that I'm dealing with. Also the people that are awakening, the ones that are curious, the curious seekers. Like I heard about Reiki, I watched a movie called Heal, and I heard about sound healing, and I want to try that. And my friend tried Reiki, and it really helped them, and I want to try that too. So those are the people that as customers that I support. So if you're curious and you want to get on my table, come on down. It's a blast. It's a great experience. You'll never be the same again. And it's life changing. If you are in a physical issue and the doctors are failing you, I've had great successes. I've had people who had coughing for 10 years. I had people with bladder problems, people with shoulder problems, sciatica problems, migraines, all kinds of stuff. It goes away and it doesn't come back. I swear to God, I don't even know this. When I read the reviews and somebody writes like, I had a back problem and it still hasn't come back, and I go, holy crap. I don't know. I don't even know that, because I pretty much talk to them like the day after a session. I like check on them and see how they're feeling, and that's about it. If they come back to me or they keep in touch with me or I get a review down the road, that's how I find out what's going on. As a Telsa healer, Telsa Healing creates miracles. And I believe that's where the healing aspect comes in. It's not just Reiki, it's a combination of everything. If you want me to get the thorn out of you, that's fine, but we need to get to the core of why you're bleeding. And it does take a little time. You can go to the chiropractor, get quick crack, but he wants to see you a little bit more often, just like I do. We do a lot of work to get you out of your way. The first session, it takes me hours to get where you need to be, to walk out of the door feeling hopeful and confident and happy, and feeling that you can do this. They all want to walk out with their backbone, shoulders back, head up, I can do this, this conviction of an authority of confidence. And that's what people want, literally, when they walk out the door, and they want to smile and like be happy. And they're floating and they're vibrating, or, things are happening. And then you have the people that are proactive, that ones that are noticing that they're slowing down, they're not thinking clearly, not feeling as in control, and they come to me for a tune-up. So if anybody out there is feeling that you fit in any of these components, come see me. Love to support you. I have 1 hour, 1.5, and 2 hour experiences. I also have couples, meaning any two people. It doesn't have to be relationship. It could be best friends, mother, father, sister, brother, sisters, brothers, best friends, whatever. And then I could even fit up to 5 people in my room. So I do small groups as well. And I do a combination of all my modalities: sound healing, Reiki, Telsa healing, access consciousness bars. I use crystals on the body. I grid you all over. I put shungite and pyramid, and use essential oils. I do cord cutting, balance out the aura, and clear balance the chakras. And I use my shamanic abilities to help remove anything that needs to come out. I'm what you call a burping healer. I sometimes burp when I'm working on the person. I feel the pressure building up in my stomach, into my chest, and into my throat, and it's got to come out. So I'm pulling out the stuff stuck, the dirty pipes, the cobwebs that need to come out of that dirty house, and fill it up with light again. Because people are coming like filled with darkness, and then they filled with light by the time they leave.
Well, you know what that brought to mind really quick was in The Green Mile. Do you remember The Green Mile? The movie The Green Mile?
Tom Hanks was in it.
Yeah. Because there's the guy in there that he can absorb the sickness and everything. And when he does, it's like he opens his mouth and it looks like a massive bumblebees that are just coming out and everything. And that's what the visual, when you were just talking about that, that's what the visual I came. And I know you said it's a burp, but it was like he would go, and just all of this would come out. And that's what that made me think of you absorbing that stuff and then letting it go. So
I
that's,
purge it. Yeah, so I
yes.
purge it for them. And a lot of times I end up in the bathroom. Right after the client leaves, I run to the bathroom, and I know if I'm running to the bathroom, I did some good work. And it's usually a lot of gut work too.
Yeah.
I had a girl the other day, she had celiac issues. As soon as she left, I had to go to the bathroom. And like I even during the session, my stomach starts flipping during the
Oh,
session.
wow.
Like, oh, here we go. Oh, and I got to protect myself better.
Yeah.
I cannot be doing that. But I used to go to a healer, and she used to, her stomach used to gurgle, and I used to giggle the whole time because to me it was so gross. But she couldn't stop it. It was like this constant water noise coming out of her stomach, but it was uncontrollable. She touched me, and her stomach gurgled, and it's just like
Yeah.
me burping. So we
Yeah.
all have ways of releasing.
That's,
And
that's amazing.
and sometimes they burp, and
Yeah.
they go, "Now you got me burping." I'm like, "Good, get it out, get it out." You
That's
think,
right. Better out than in, right?
yeah, people are suppressing it, just like you and your throat chakra. They
Yeah.
suppress,
Yeah.
they keep it in, and during the session, they feel a little ball. They feel they have to swallow. They feel pressure, and then it comes out.
Yeah, yeah. And it's, just really quick, there's a book that I love, and you may have read this or you may not, and I cannot remember the name of the author, but it's called Feelings Buried Alive Never Die. And that was one of the books that helped me because it helped me to realize that, suppressing things so you don't feel them doesn't do anything but press it down to where it explodes out, at some point. And so it's a really, really good book. Anybody that's listening or watching, that if you're having some issues with, things that you've been burying for a while, then it's definitely a good read. And then your book would be really, really good for being able to balance out those chakras and understand that a little bit better, correct?
Yeah, yeah, I have an ebook. It's downloadable. I also have an audio version. It's called Root to Riches. It's 17 ways to open the root chakra to love, abundance, and security. And it's basically 17 methods that you can do on your own to help you get grounded and rooted and to step into your power. The root chakra is the most important because it's your foundation to security. And a lot of people living in fight, flight, and freeze, especially after COVID too.
Oh, yes,
And
definitely.
yeah, so we're still working on that, and also still the repercussions of COVID. A lot of people. I talked to my client the other day, and her husband died from COVID only a year ago. So, and she's still dealing with the grief in her heart.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. Well, there's a lot of people that are still very fearful, still feeling like they have to wear a mask and all. And I'm actually a hairstylist as well as a coach and everything. And I'll just share really quick. I have a woman who comes in, and she has her 10-year-old son that comes in with her. And especially during COVID, once we were back open, he would always wear a mask. Well, once everybody wasn't wearing masks, he still wanted to wear a mask. And I told him one day, I said, sweetie, you don't have to wear that mask if you don't want to. He said, I don't want to hurt you. And so
Oh,
he was very fearful of
oh,
contaminating someone else and fearful. So, there's the generation that it was little during this time. They've got even more fears
brainwashed
than,
now.
yes, yes.
Oh, the psychological mind that the kid has is that, oh,
Yeah, I know. It is so sad. And I talked to his mom about it, and she said, well, I don't know what to do. He's just got this in his mind. So he still wants to wear a mask when he goes to school. And he almost didn't want to go to school. There was so many different things around this, and I see it in children sometimes when you're out shopping. Sometimes used to, you could speak to a child and they would talk back, and you can still see that some, but some of them, it's like as soon as you speak to them, they just have this fear. It's really it's sad to see how this one, well, it wasn't small, but this one thing, even though we're somewhat past it, you can still see the effects that it's having in so many different profound ways.
The repercussions honestly, I don't wear a mask in public, but I do wear my mask during my session.
Mm-hmm.
I got so used to that barrier because I'm right inches away from them. I'm doing Reiki at their head. I can smell their breath, I can smell their hair. I don't want that. And I got to protect them, me as well. I have an autoimmune disease and I don't want anything that they got. So, we just talk for an hour. You're sitting 4 feet away from me. We're still good. I've got my barrier. But when you're on the table, I do wear my mask when I get close because I just don't want your droplets, my droplets, because
Mm-hmm.
sometimes even when they're in their session, they have effervescence, their lips start fluttering and
Yeah.
stuff comes out like their
Well,
lips
when
are
you think about it, doctors usually, when they're working close proximity, do. I mean, the dentist always does, which I'm saying if I was a dentist, I'd have to just to make sure there was no breath stuff because there's some people's breath, but I don't as a hairstylist. For me, for some reason, it feels like it's too much of a barrier in that space, so that's just me though. I know there are people who do, but it's um I'm not actually, other than when I'm shampooing or something, I'm not right in their face and all like you are when you're doing this process with them. So I perfectly understand, and I'm surprised that they don't feel like they might need something too. I don't know, but let's see.
not anymore. So
Really?
yeah, there was a time where people would come in with their masks and use it straight onto the table.
Yeah. I still have a few people that come in and wear a mask, and I'll ask them, do you want me to wear a mask? And if they say yes, I'll wear a mask. To me, it's, um, it's, I don't want to infringe on them. If I choose not to wear a mask on my own, that's okay. But when somebody else is with me and they feel compelled to wear a mask and want me to wear a mask, that's just being respectful, I believe. So that's what I do.
I just saw like somebody went live the other day of an outdoor event, and I couldn't believe how many people wearing masks outdoors
Hmm,
in the 90-degree heat. It's almost
yeah.
100 degrees here.
I saw a meme the other day. I'll just share really quick because I know we're out of time, but it was a meme and I think it was on Facebook or whatever. And it had this person standing in the middle of the field and they had a seatbelt on. And they said, for those of you who have been really excited about wearing the mask in the car alone, here you go. Here's your seatbelt to wear wherever you go. So I just thought it was really funny. But, because I did see, especially during the height of everything, people in the car all by themselves wearing a mask. And it was like, I don't get it. What are you preventing,
I
here?
know.
But,
Hey,
everybody has to do their coping with something that's going on around them in their own way. So, yeah, so it's amazing. But share really quickly. I know you shared, a little bit about who you work with and everything, but tell them how they can get in touch with you. And on the different places that I post this, I will put as much information as I can up, because it will be on YouTube, Spotify, Amazon, and iTunes. So
excellent.
yeah. So it'll be in several different places. So wherever I can put this extra information, I will, but just share that really quick if you don't mind.
How to find me?
Yes.
Well, first, my website is my name, sherikaplan.com, easy enough.
You might want to spell that because Sheri is spelled differently.
It's only one,
Okay.
SHERIKAPLAN.com. You can also call me or text me. I do keep my ringer off, so text is best, but it's 786-419-1389. I also have direct links. You can, I have bit.ly links where it's bit.ly/, Sheri schedule, and that brings you right to my schedule. Or you can also go to Sheri Biz page, which gives you like a little bit of everything that I offer. My book, My Route to Riches, I have a special right now for $9.99. And you can also buy that too. And that's a bit.ly link / Route to Riches. It's RICHES, Riches.
All right, perfect. Well, thank you for sharing that. And just really quick, anybody that wants to reach out to me to be a guest on the podcast or to actually talk to me a little bit about coaching or hypnosis or whatever it is that you want to talk about, you can find me on Instagram at the_enlightened_peach. And on Facebook at The Enlightened Peach, or you can also reach out to me at vickiesue@gmail.com. And that's Vickie, Vickie, SUE, and Poole, POOLE @gmail.com. So however you reach out to either one of us, we will be blessed to no measure by your interaction. So thank you so much, everybody, for being here today. And thank you, Sheri, for sharing all your wonderful nuggets that you had today. And I look forward to possibly having you as a guest again soon.
Well, thank you so much. I just wanted to throw one more thing. If anybody
Okay.
wants a free chakra reading, it's freechakrareading.com. That's it.
Oh, wonderful, wonderful. So thank you.